The Umbrella Corporation. Our business is life itself. This podcast episode is brought to you by nothing.
Try it for free.
Are we on? All right. So, I need you to hear me out here. I'm going to start doing motivational speeches. And I would like for y'all to come out to some of my speeches. The last one that I did was on organization, and 80 people, around 80 people came, and I think it was 82. And I showed up, and I had a briefcase with me. And when I took my briefcase out, I didn't know where my stuff was in my pocket, and I took my briefcase out, and my briefcase was a mess. All kinds of papers fell out of it, and pens, and I was like, but it's my comedy style, but I'm teaching some good principles about organization. But the thing is, I'm doing it in a comedic way. Come on, man, I didn't really do that. All right, you think I have time to do that? I have little kids, you hear me bring up that little kid thing a lot, but it's real, it's legit. It's a full-time job. Having children is an intense full-time job. It is a very intense. You have to be very present. Excuse me. Whoa. There's so many things that I forgot about that I used to remember. My memory was amazing, right? And I'm 44 now, so people might be blaming it on my age, but that's not true at all. Not at all. And what's going on here is dealing with my kids and my daily life with my kids. I have to be in such an intense moment, state of mind, that I have to pay attention to them because they could hurt themselves. So it's always right now. It's like the Greyhound bus. As a friend of mine once put it, whenever you're on the Greyhound bus, it's always, doesn't matter what time it is, it's always right now. And I'm pretty sure maybe you have not been on a Greyhound bus. I actually kind of like it. There's something I like about the Greyhound bus. The serfdom of it, let's say, the forgotten people of society of it, let's say. Because really, there's always a part of me that feels that way, that I am one of those people. What can you make of that? I don't know. It doesn't really matter to me, really. There's nothing wrong with being one of those people. There's nothing wrong with thinking you're one of the forgotten people of society. It's not a sad thing. It's not a happy thing. But, Greyhound stations are sad when you look at them. It is a sad place. And that's fine, too. You gotta experience those things as well. But they don't really make me sad. Most of the time, I've been comfortable in there. I'm like, oh, I understand this. There's that crazy dude over there. And there's a dude over there that looks like they haven't taken a shower. And there's this chick over here who will probably sleep with me for $15. There's that kind of thing. So yeah, let me tell you about my adventures in cryptocurrency. If you're not familiar with cryptocurrency is a digital moneda. It is a digital money that people exchange, etc., etc. You know what? If you want to know the details behind it, I'm not going to give you a lesson right now. Look it up. It's interesting. There's a lot of interesting things going on with the blockchain. Look up the blockchain and what it is and what it could be used for. In any case, my adventures in cryptocurrency. So I bought Bitcoin in December when it was going up. So I bought it kind of high. I didn't buy it at its peak because I read a couple of places that it was going to keep going up. But I bought it pretty high and then it dropped, right? So, I'm not a rich man. So I took a little money aside that I can use to gamble with, let's say. I'm not a gambler at all, okay? There's nothing, I don't find anything, how do I put it to you, rewarding about it. And I'm not even into money, right? However, being a father, a family man, I have this side of me that thinks and that feels like it's not about me anymore. And I have to put my ideals aside and give my kids an opportunity and safety that I think that they need. You may be somebody, you may be like, man, your kids don't need safety. You just need to love them, Goliath, and everything will be just fine. You know what? That person could go to hell because that person. I feel you. I understand that sentiment, but that's not what's up. That's not how it is. That's what I think anyway, and I have the conviction to think this. Okay, so que se van la verga, me la pelan. So the market went down in my cryptocurrency. Getting back to my cryptocurrency adventure, the market went down, and I started losing money, like of my principal, money that I put in there. And it's going down, and I'm like, holy shit, is this gonna stop? Because it goes up and down anyway. But no, it started going down and down, and I was like, sell. I can't really yell right now because everybody's asleep. Everybody's sleeping in here. And I'm like, sell. I gotta sell this thing. And I'm like, I'm like in a hurry, like on my computer, like trying to sell my coin. And I sold it, but I took what would you call it? I took like a 35% hit. And that's fine. Because I didn't plan on losing this money, but when I went into this, I fully expected, I was in the state of mind of like, look, pretend this money is lost already. Right? The thing is, I'm trying to learn about markets and about this cryptocurrency situation also, and it's my friends who are into the stocks. They think this is very hacky, and admittedly, it is hacky. If you try to buy cryptocurrency, it's not simple. It's not that it's not simple to make an account and buy it and sell it. Well, the part that is not simple is that you learn all these little things that make a big difference along the way. Like, for example, transaction fees. You have to be sure that you've gained enough to cover your transaction fees. And then, after I figured that out, then I found out that there was this other exchange, which is like a place where people trade, like a stock market for the cryptocurrencies. There's another exchange that charges very small transaction fees. See, so I've moved on to that one, and that one is called GDAX, right? But don't take my word for it because I just started using that one. Now, where am I going with this? Where am I going with this crypto situation? Basically, I'm keeping some money and I want to keep money in 3 different coins, right? And those coins are Bitcoin, Ethereum, and XRP, Ripple. I have to read up on Ripple still some more because I already read up on it and I need to see what's going on with it right now. Anyhow, if I'm boring you to death, don't worry. I'll be done with this in a moment. And so I'm going to have that there just in case these blow up again. It'll be like a long-term investment. Let's say one of them goes up 1,500% the way that Bitcoin did. I don't think Bitcoin will do that again. But it's interesting because it seems like this cryptocurrency thing is here to stay. And like I was telling you earlier, my friends who are into the stock market and into finance, they think this is really hacky, which it is, because they're like, what is this? Like, it's not a company. Like, people are trading money. It's kind of like a little Las Vegas, maybe. It's like you go in there and you trade and you make money off of this fake money. But in the end, money itself, whatever country you're in, that is bullshit too. It is not even real. Like, not to get all like Bernie Sanders on you, but it's not really on the real. It's not real. It's just real because it has value because you and I say it has value. That's the basic way that works. Same thing with gold, same thing with diamonds. And like I posted on Twitter yesterday, was something like everything is fiat. It's all fiat. except for family, food, water, and love, something like that. And basically, because when you're using money, you're trying to get to one of these things. You're trying to either protect one of these things or make one of these things better or get to one of them. So I think that I have a feeling like that this eCoin situation is a good thing. It doesn't have to be everything. Some people are really gung ho about this. Like they might have like a Bitcoin poster in their room and like a Bitcoin T-shirt and a Bitcoin baseball cap. I'm not that guy, but it's interesting. You could learn about the market with this kind of thing, like how it works and losing money and gaining money. So I'll tell you what, I made some money off of my coin, but then I lost during that drop. What I'm saying I made some money is like I sent money to my bank that I made already, but then when the coin dropped, it dropped so fast that I lost. I lost whatever headway that I made, whatever gains that I earned, so to speak. So yeah, make of the cryptocurrency what you will. I'm not sure what you think about it personally. Everybody has an opinion on it, and some people have a very strong opinion on it one way or the other. Anyway, I'm just talking shit now. I won't get into my strategy because it's like 90% fleshed out. But part of the reason that I'm doing this is like what I told you, that I'm a family man now, and I have to put my ideals aside to a degree. And also that I'm 44. This girl said to me at one of my gigs, she said, I started trading, like I started getting interested in stocks. She goes, oh, it's probably because you're getting older. I don't know what she meant by that, but I think that it has something to do with it, because now that I think about it, I think of like all these older dudes that are like in the stock market. Maybe it's because like you're like running out of time. Like you see that horizon, thing in the horizon, and you're like, man, I need to make some money quick, right? And I don't have like 10 years to develop some like Amazon company, which really I do, really you do. But the thing is, I really don't, because I want to be at home with my kids. So I have to figure out a very ingenuitive, is that a word? Ingenuitive way to do this, to accomplish this. It's an algebra problem, and I'm excited by these kinds of situations. Like they're difficult, and you need to crack it. I like cast puzzles. You know what those are? They're like made out of steel, and there's two pieces of steel, and they're bent in different ways, and you have to take them apart. I like those, and this is kind of like that. However, with this life cast puzzle, there's some baggage with it. There are some consequences that aren't just me, my wife and my children, so I can't play around too much. Maybe I gotta tell you, if I was single, no kids, I would probably dump a decent portion of my savings into these coins right now. And I would be like, you know what, if I lose it, it'll suck, and I'll get drunk, and then that'll be that, and I'll feel sad for like maybe 3 or 4 days, less and less each day. But I would just get right back to it. But the thing is, this is why you have to take risks if you're going to try to win big, right? You have to take risks. And this is why you're a loser, dog. This is why, because you don't take those risks, right? And if you take those risks, then you make great gains. However, I don't recommend that you take the risks with these coins, especially from me telling you about it, because I'm not as knowledgeable about it as Andreas Antonopoulos, which I mentioned in the last podcast. Let's see what else I got to say for you guys. I think like 15 minutes have passed or something like that. But really, I'm done talking for now. Here, listen to this. Maple Street Biscuit Company. And what the fuck? Everything's like a fucking old grandpa's cause medicine, fucking repurposed, like wood, fucking down home, banjo playing, fucking long beard having place, over here. And the cookies are $3 each, okay? And I'm like, I know, look, I don't care if you fucking wheeled in your grandmother from the Tennessee mountains over here just to fucking bake these cookies. I'm not gonna give you $3 for this one fucking cookie. It's not even that big. It's not even big at all, really. It's like this artisan shit. And then on top of that, you have to put your own dishes away here. And this is a new trend right here, right? They're fucking getting rid of labor, charging you more for the artisan shit. And then you gotta do pretty soon you're gonna have to go in the back and do your own dishes. All right. That's right. Hello, everybody. I love ya. I love ya. That's something I learned from white folks. I love ya. That means that I can't really commit to feeling too much emotion. Like if I say I love you, right? I can't. It's too much. It's like I love ya. That's more like casual, like love. It doesn't have to be. It's not too much of an emotional commitment for me to say that. It's too risky to be emotional. And, when I had a job out here, before this, I lived in a Mexican neighborhood for my whole life, basically, until I was like 30 or whatever. And I had a job out here. I got a job out here. I realized that at work, you couldn't express anger. Like, you couldn't even be angry. Like, you couldn't even seem angry at work because your boss felt threatened somehow, because all my muscles and shit. So yeah, for real though, the restaurant thing, I was thinking about making a restaurant, right? Since this trend, okay, so I went to this restaurant, like I just told you, I went to this restaurant and I took my little girls there because we gotta go do something. We gotta do something during the day. So I took them there and then we went to the library, but at this restaurant, you go there and it's the thing cost. I noticed that the people eating at this place, they are not very healthy looking. Like, it's like people ditched fast food for these biscuits. And the biscuits, it's not good for you. It's bread, which is sugar and whatnot, and then they're drinking soda. So they're now they're getting artisan heart attacks. Artisan handcrafted heart attacks. So anyway, so I'm up there at the counter, right? And I'm looking at the menu. I'm like, this is kind of pricey. I'm not going to feed my daughters this. So we got some sweet potato fries. Not that healthy, right? It doesn't matter. We ate ceviche. I made them ceviche and they would not stop eating it. And my youngest one ate a whole avocado. She's 2. She's small and petite, and she's 2. And she ate the whole avocado. And they wouldn't stop eating ceviche. So we went there just to go. And I drank a little coffee, and they were, eating some, I got them some sweet potato French fries, which are these big old, like, thick cut, not even French fries, just big old thick cuts of sweet potato. So you got all this rustic stuff going on. The sweet potatoes are cut, they're chopped like if you would have, like, cut them off with your teeth or something like that, right? So, and then everything's all rustic and like repurposed wood everywhere, and it looks like everything's made out of pallets. So bare minimum cost, right? Construction costs. The light bulbs are all bare, like a Benjamin Franklin looking. The tables are just like, where did you find this table or something? Anyhow, so there's that. And then we're supposed to put our dishes away, like I said. You put your own dishes away. That's the labor cost. You understand that labor cost is the most expensive thing for a business. You see them getting rid of it. Places get rid of it. Please put your dishes away, right? they're doing that, and then the reason behind it is because you're supposed to be being community, like contributing to the community, right? Well, where the fuck is my cut from the profits? You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. They're like, well, otherwise our prices would be higher. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. I don't believe you. I thought you were driving around in that nice car. So labor, even Walmart reduces their labor costs. See, because they're like, if you go there at night, let's say 10 p.m. or whatever, you know, I got to make a Walmart run because I have kids and I need something for the morning or whatever. And I go there, they got one lane open. The Walmart is like, fuck you. We don't give a shit about you. Like, you're going to give us your money and we're going to make you wait in one line. Everybody, there's like 20 lanes, right? They got one open and people are sitting there and I'm standing there holding like some kale and like some chicharrones or whatever. And then and I'm standing there and so the person in front of me, two people in front of me, they have like carts full of stuff, mostly sugar, sugar-based things, but are things that will turn into sugar in the body. But so what's your option? So you go and you check yourself out. That's what people are doing. That's what the majority of the people are doing there, is checking themselves out. So there you go. You cut the labor cost right there. And not only that, not only are we going to cut the labor cost and we're going to charge a lot of money for this stuff that you're ordering, and we're going to use cheap pallets to build our stuff with, but we're also going to ask you to tip our employee at the counter because we're not paying them enough. And we're going to outsource the labor cost to you, the customer, and pretty soon, it's like I said, I'm going to make a restaurant where you go and you have to do the dishes. Like, you do your own dish, you go in the back, come on, I'm gonna contribute, man, and I can get rid of the dishwasher. And like, you put the early and you do your own dish. And I'm gonna do it under the guise of like contribute and community, you know? And then maybe the next step could be like, you go there and then you cook your own food. And then you have to you eat and you clean up and you do your dishes afterwards. But, you know, if there was a restaurant like that, I wouldn't even have to leave the house. Why would I leave the house? The whole reason I'm going to the restaurant is because I don't want to do all those things. That's why I'm going there. But people might go for it if I do it like under the guise of community and, socialism. No, I'm just kidding, socialism. Now, if I do it under the guise of community and contribution. So there's been a trend that I've noticed of, hang on a second, what's going on? There's been a trend that I've noticed of, I patronize a lot of business and I go to a lot of coffee shops because that's where I use the internet, right? And I noticed this thing that's happened over the past several years, and it's that there's an air of adversarialness. There's an adversarial relationship between the person from behind the counter to me, the customer. And I say it's adversarial, because like if you go to Starbucks, those people are being worked. They're being worked to death. Like they're making coffee. There's like 7 people back there. Did I already talk about this in the podcast? I don't think so. But they're back there and there's 7 people behind this small ass counter and they're working in there. But so they get pissed off at you. Who else are they going to get pissed off of? Yeah, Kenny G, like the major stockholder in the company. They're not going to get mad at him. They can't even communicate with him. So they're going to get mad at you, the customer. It's got to go out somewhere. But there is an adversarial relationship there. And then Starbucks is known for, you make up your fucking drinks. And you're like, let me have this with like an extra shot of this and extra that. Okay. So, and then it's just, I'm sure that people must start sounding like pompous after a while. It's like, you want some spit in that? If you're somebody who does that kind of shit, if you mess with people's food, man, you are like one of the lowest people. And I hope that it bothers you. If not tonight or the next day or the next week, I hope that in like years it bothers you and you're just like laying in bed and you're like, man, I should not have done that. That was horrible of me. I hope you wake up one day, but you might not want to wake up. You might purposely keep yourself from advancing emotionally, from growing, from maturing, because then that would mean you would have to face that. But anyhow, there's this adversarial relationship from, back in the day, when it was usually, a white male who is behind the counter. You go over to Mr. McFeely's grocery store and you're there and he's like, hello, Charles, Philip, whatever. And you're like, hello, hey, and he's nice to you. And that's his store. That was his store, and he was taking care of it. And he had every bit of interest in you liking and enjoying the experience of, and liking everything that you bought at that store. But now, the employees are so far removed, usually from the ownership, that they don't. It's not that kind of relationship. It's like you're all getting screwed together. Them behind the counter and you on the other side of the counter. And then the bosses are somewhere else, And that's just how the climate has been turning. It's been turning out like. So I say it's adversarial because there's elitism. If you work at a cool place, for whatever you think is cool, you're in a certain scene and you work at this cool place, and it's adversarial with automatically with the customers. If you're working somewhere that is overworking you, you can't help but feel, I suppose you can't help but feel angry when some customer comes and sits down or comes up to your counter and orders you some, it's going to make you work even some more, and you thought you were going to take a cigarette break or something. I don't know if people still smoke, whatever, an e-cigarette break. My cigarette ran out of batteries, that kind of shit. My money ran out of hard drive space. So what's going on? What's going on in America? Where are we going with this? Trump is the president. China is capitalizing on all of the things that he's kind of messing up on. And maybe we'll move to China. Maybe me and my family will move to China. I'll learn Mandarin. I think I could pull it off, the phonics. If I could say it like the old school one, like, sure. That sounds Chinese, right? I could do it. I can learn Chinese. Besides, it would be a fun language to learn because it's tonal and because it's not alphanumeric based. They got the symbols. I don't know. I don't think maybe that's what my daughter will take is Chinese, because they're gonna take over the world, and it's gonna be you gotta look to the future. You gotta start investing in Chinese companies. As far as America, where is America going? I don't know, man. And I think on the last podcast I talked about how gentrification. Maybe I didn't, but gentrification is like, I've been across the country. And I've noticed how the gentrification all looks the same. Like there's a gentrification kit, and they all get their lumber and their decor from the same places, and they use the same construction company, the gentrification construction company, and they come out to your city, and they just they know where to put the coffee shop and what kind of like a slab of concrete for counter to use, and et cetera, et cetera. And it's weird. And then they go into this place that actually does have an edge, and they go and they do that, and then they try to make a fake edge to the place. And that's exactly what's going on, and people are okay with it. But this this is a spin-off from progressivism, because I've always been a progressive. I'm afraid of being a progressive now because the goalposts have moved. You know what I'm saying? It's like if you were a right winger, and then what happened over the past 2 years happened, and you're like, man, I don't think I'm right wing anymore. I can't call myself that anymore, right? The goalposts have moved to the extremes so heavily that I don't know what I am right now. And I'll tell you, so this gentrification thing sprung up from that, from an artistic side of the neighborhood. Then companies saw they can capitalize on it, and that people wanted that. People wanted to live in a place that was interesting with interesting people. But it's so weird and so really sadly like American like for modern era like capitalism America like that they go in there and they get rid of everything that was making that place interesting and great. So as I haven't been there, but as from what I heard in New York, Brooklyn was a spot like that. Now everybody moved to Bushwick or something like that. So all those people have to move out, and they're just gonna do it again. And who the fuck is renting all these apartments, like all these new places? Aren't we in a recession? Like, aren't people poor? Like, who are all these people moving into these places? Like, what the hell? How's that going on? It's like, and so what's gonna happen in like 40 years, or in like 50 years, or in like 30 years? Or is everybody gonna want to move out? So all the poor people are gonna move to the outskirts, and then the people's living in the urban centers, they're gonna find some study and realize that open air spaces are much better for you. So then they're gonna move out back to the suburbs, and they're gonna make the poor people move back into the inner city. Well, once you tap out a market, you're gonna have to create another market, right? So that's very likely to happen. Or they could be doing, hey man, subterranean living is it now. Like, we're gonna do the subterranean thing. Or you move into the sky, you fucking live in blimps, in zeppelins. So that's what I was thinking about. I could buy a small piece of property in New York, and then just attach a blimp, like a zeppelin, to it, and it could be a place that I rent out, like Airbnb. It would really be Airbnb though, because it would be get it, because it would be in the air, and but that is pretty clever, right? Airbnb for real. So you would go and you would, I would take you up there, or I would bring it down, and you'd go up there, and you could climb down, and you would stay there, and you could rent it out. I could have that shit booked for the whole year, and I wouldn't have to pay much property tax or rent because the property is actually in the air, and it's only attached to a like a 10 by 10 foot area. See, I could buy little 10 by 10 foot areas in New York, and then do that and make a bunch of money. Oh man, you know what? I don't feel like talking anymore. Maybe you'll hear some music right now. So I got a flu. You know what it's like to get a flu? Of course you do. I got this flu, and I had this dream. I had many dreams because I've been laying in bed. I was in bed for like about 24 hours, as should be prescribed for just about anybody who has the flu. You should be in bed a lot. And in my dream, I was in a baseball diamond, right? And I was with my friend who's transgender, and we were at this baseball diamond, and there was these wild animals in this park. Like, it was like a park, but we were in the baseball diamond park, and this bobcat comes up to me, and it's like walking around us. There's many of us there. They're playing a baseball game, and I'm like, what the hell is this bobcat doing here? And then, as you know how the dreams are, these things wouldn't make sense to you at all in real life. You would be like, this is totally absurd. But in the dream, however your dream mind works, you totally accept it. You're like, okay, there's a bobcat here, and this motherfucker can probably kill me. And I'm making plans on how would I kill this bobcat, right? It's not that big, right? It's not as big as my dog, but it's not as small as my cat. But it's big and ferocious. It's one of its top 2 or 3 primary motives in life is to kill with its mouth and its nails, right? And its muscles. So I'm thinking, how would I kill this bobcat, man? I don't know anything about bobcats. And I didn't wake up thinking, man, I got to figure out how to kill a bobcat, but I got to figure out how to kill a bobcat. And and it was just walking around my legs, and I didn't want to move. And somebody said to me, hey man, let's go over here. I'm like, nah, I don't think I want to go anywhere right now. And I didn't feel like moving because I'm trying to read the cat's face, but I'm also trying not to look the cat in the eye. But I'm trying to keep an eye on the cat. And the cat is like, I'm thinking, okay, here's what I'll do. It will probably grab my arm, hopefully not my neck. I won't let it, right? If I can help it. And it'll start clawing me like a cat does, like cha, 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 right? With its hind legs. And just springing them upward. And then that's when I'll make my move. I'll grab its hind legs if I can or somewhere, and I'll step on it with all my weight. And that should just crush it, right? What a cruel and horrible thought, right? But hey, what are you gonna do if you're in a situation like that? Anyway, this is a dream. Nobody get upset. I was scared, but it was a dream because it was real in my dream, because dreams are weird, because we're weird in our dreams like that. And then I went to my job, one of my gigs, and they had moved the building. They had moved to a new building in a totally different looking kind of building. And it was like an old restaurant that they were revamping. I'm like, what the hell are they doing in here? It was dark in there. And then there was a swimming pool. And it turns out that my car was in the swimming pool and there was water in the pool. And somehow, through the magic of dreamyverse, through the magic of dreamy wood, I managed to get my car out of the swimming pool, and I was driving my car slowly while it's all just leaking water out everywhere. Excuse me, that's my flu right there. And yeah, so I'm gonna tell you, I think that my wife and my kids are gonna catch this flu, and that's bad, man. I think I'll take care of my wife and my kids, but I think she can hang in there. But the kids, oh man, I feel bad for them. They're not gonna know what's going on. Maybe I should feel worse for my wife because she is knowing what's going on. But if they all get sick at the same time, man, I'm gonna have a lot of work to do around here. It's all right though, because I grew up taking care of an alcoholic father. I should be fine. I should be just fine. Yeah. You can't trade stocks. You can't trade cryptocurrency or anything like stocks or cryptocurrency when you have 2 toddlers in the house. If you're trying to do it live, because you know what happens? You end up losing $500 is what happens. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm not a rich person, but I have a little bit of money that I'm playing around with, learning about this stock game. I may end up leaving with my tail between my legs, so to speak. But, it's a learning experience. I'll tell you something interesting that I've learned about the stock market and the market in general, looking at these graphs, right? First of all, I want you to know that I don't really enjoy it. I do enjoy one thing. I enjoy learning. And I've reaped benefits from this right away. I made some money, I lost some money, I made some money. And I'll tell you, the thing that I've learned right away is how emotional you can get about these graphs and this stock market and these prices. Like if you're doing something stupid like playing around with money that you cannot play around with, if you don't have experience with this and you're not using your Vegas money, but you're using your real money that you actually need to live and to save and whatnot, then that's a mistake. But you still get emotional about it in the sense like I was reading about stock traders and whatnot, and it's almost unanimous, right? Older stock traders, they're like, do not get into this business, because there was a list of like 8 things, and those 8 things were like, you'll contemplate suicide. I was like, okay, I could see that. Another one was you'll get depressed. Another one was your blood pressure. Like as you see the stock, the thing that you just bought, that it was going up, and now it starts taking a turn down. You just bought it. It starts taking a turn down. And your blood pressure goes up. So you're constantly playing with that. And I can see all of these things. All these things. It's nothing that I would ever want to do professionally. And another thing that this stock trader guy said was, this seasoned, retired, maybe older stock trader guy, he said another thing is that he regrets spending his life doing this because in the end, he didn't make anything. And if you hear that noise in the background, it's a television. Nobody's getting strangled back there. Excuse me, I still have a flu. He didn't make anything. He didn't create anything of value. He called it scalping a few $1,000s a day off of the top of the market or something like that. And I can totally see that too. Because it's like, that's all you're doing really is making money. You're taking money. And he also mentioned that it's a zero-sum game, which if I understand that correctly, it means that somebody has to lose in order for you to win. Many things are like that. And, I think just about everybody who gets involved into this kind of thing learns that or understands that. But anyhow, psychologically, it's impressive how it teaches you to separate your emotions from your logical decisions. And something else that you really need to have in check is your ability to admit that you're wrong right away. The sooner that you can admit that you're wrong, that you've gotten into a bad trade, the sooner that you can pull out of it. And that's very important. Luna, Xochitl, no le hagas eso al perro. No le hagas eso al perro con el tenedor. My daughter's like poking the dog with a fork. Xochitl, no le hagas eso al perro. Está dormido el perro. Está dormido el perro, okay? Like I was saying, you can't podcast with toddlers either. But I love them so much. Te quiero mucho, baby. Te quiero. ¿Qué estás haciendo tú? ¿Qué estás haciendo, huh? ¿Tu pasta? ¿Quieres más pasta? Yes. Baby, yo creo que ya se acabó la pasta. Vamos a ver si hay más, ¿ok?